First off, just I'm happy to see this DeAndre Williams back. I've been challenging him to be this player because I know he has it in him. And couldn't have picked a better game to go out there and do what he did today. 9 offensive rebounds, almost had a triple-double, 17 points, 7 assists, 14 rebounds. He wasn't the only one, but you could just tell his energy. He wasn't going to let us lose. Same thing with Alex Lomax. 6 for 12 from the floor, 14 points in a big game like this when Kendrick didn't have it going. And, Malcolm Dandridge coming off the bench, doing what he did, Chandler doing what he did, and just collectively as a group just locking in on the game plan and doing a terrific job.
Back here. Did you feel that you could take advantage of them inside and score in the paint like you did tonight?
Well, that was our focus coming into the game, is to live in the paint. Obviously, we haven't been shooting the three-point shot well, and every team that we played against have been packing the paint and making it hard for us, so we were forced a lot of times to take those shots. But the difference was we went after the offensive rebounds. We got 20 offensive rebounds tonight. We did that, but our focus was to get in the paint and make those bigs step up and have those drop-offs to our bigs or get shots at the basket.
Coach, with a night like for Alex Lomax with shooting, how does it make you feel with a much improved jump shot from him?
Well, I mean, he works on his game. He's in the gym shooting those shots, and they're starting to fall right now. They weren't falling earlier in the season, the first few games, and now they're falling. So, he understands these rivalry games, so I'm always looking for him to show up in these type of games.
Penny, it was a year ago that you had a rough game against Ole Miss. Is this, in terms of the way this team plays together, night and day from where you were a year ago? Yeah,
for sure. And again, I'm not knocking the previous team. It was so much talent that we just couldn't figure it out early. And this year's team just came in, I guess, with the older guys just, kind of just being like on the same page immediately and trying to do it together. And you can just tell the difference.
Penny, I think I asked you something similar in Orlando, but DeAndre Williams, a guy who's in his 5th year, what do you tell him that's different to kind of evoke this version of him on a nightly basis?
He has to show up. The pressure is what he should want. And DeAndre is that style player, that type of player every single night, not just every now and then. And that's what I tell him. You got to go out there and be great. And he has that ability to do this on a nightly basis. I know these are unbelievable numbers, but rebounding the ball and scoring the ball for us is something that he can do nightly.
Hey, Penny, just from a visual point of view, it looked like your offense just flowed so much better. It didn't look sporadic. It just looked like it flowed. Is it getting closer to where you want it to be?
I can honestly say it still isn't there, but guys are making timely plays. When it gets there, you'll know. It'll be way more movement, way more ball movement, way more body movement. And I'm just appreciating the guys making it work for now. And like I said, making timely shots and getting into the paint and making timely plays, winning plays. But it still isn't there yet.
Penny, the defensive effort on Morrell, was that just a matter of flashing a bunch of different guys at him to switch in? Or
Man, Matt still did a great job. He was 4 for 9. It was Alo's job, but it was the entire team's supposed to help Alo on that. And the catch and shoots that he caught were unbelievable with his athleticism, and he just made them. You can just tell that's what he works on all the time. And he's a tough cover because of his athleticism, but it was a total team effort. But Alex had the job of making them work.
Penny, 2 questions for you. In the first half there, when Alo hits he spun one way, then spun back, and then gets the floating layup, the place is going nuts. I'm curious for you as someone who's been around him for a long time, were you able to take a moment to soak it in, or is it?
Absolutely. I enjoyed that moment because when he's confident and when he's playing like that, he's very hard to stop. He really is. He doesn't look to score like that often, but in this game, with the rhythm that he had, it didn't matter who was in front of him. He was ready to play.
I don't think it was like your spin move at the elbow that was
But
really
it was an
famous.
unbelievable spin move because he lost the guy.
Yeah.
And made the shot on top of that.
And then secondly, just those seniors, Alo, DeAndre, Kendrick, Malcolm, Chandler. Do you sense this team kind of has a feel for the urgency of the moment already, kind of, so to speak? Like they know they can't waste opportunities? Yeah,
for sure. Last year was the first time that anyone in our group outside of Chandler had made the NCAA tournament. And, with the rest of the guys coming now, it's like, hey, it's a sense of urgency for us to take every moment, as if it was our last. Because last year we lost 4 games in a row. We kind of had to go through winning 13 out of 15 and scrambling to get into the NCAA tournament and playing the number 1 overall seed 3 time zones Northwest. You know what I mean? So we don't want that anymore. And I think these seniors, they don't want that either.
Penny, Kermit was in here praising your team, excuse me, for winning the 50-50 balls. You guys were all over the place. This is your 5th team. Is this the scrappiest, I'll use that term, scrappiest team that you have coached, the way they get on the ground and win those 50-50s?
I can say that, yes. I've had some teams that have been number 1 in the country with defensive, efficiency and things of that nature, but this team is a much better defensive team this early in the season and that I've had for sure, because they understand the moment. Those older guys really don't want to give up anything. We want to be stingy on the defensive end, and we're doing a terrific job.
Coach, how do you feel about the progression of KO? You're starting to give him more minutes now.
Yeah, KO is going to come along. It's a new system for him, and we're asking him to do a lot more than what he did at UT Arlington. And he didn't get a lot tonight, but, man, he still shows promise with short minutes, still getting 2 blocks a game, almost 3 blocks a game. So I'm trying to get his confidence going, in practice, and hope to give him more minutes because we do need his athleticism and his rim protection.
Penny, I think last game you said something like you felt like guys were taking plays off. You wanted guys 1 through 13 to kind of give it their all. It seemed like that was more on display tonight. Was it something that you and your staff said to them or did behind the scenes that kind of brought that out?
Well, Coach Davis does a phenomenal job. The film that we watched of every game, we saw them in Orlando, how hard they play. If you don't match that, you're going to get blown out. So we had to match that intensity plus more being at home, and that's the reason why we played more desperate tonight.
Penny, the crowd tonight was a big part of they had a hand in this. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. The six man, basically, our crowd, that's what we're used to. Me, Alo, Malcolm, seeing that crowd over the years. It's kind of thinned out a little bit for this group, and they haven't seen this crowd before. So I'm happy when they get a chance to see how Memphis basketball really is during these rivalry games and these games with the, Ole Miss or Tennessee or Arkansas. So, yeah, the crowd was definitely a huge help tonight.
And then second, we talked to you yesterday afternoon, and there was no update on DeMaurier, so it looked like it sounded like, based on what you said on the radio before the game, that there has been an update. What's the latest? Yeah,
the last I heard was that UIC is going to, with the waiver that we have, they're going to okay what was in the waiver, and now the decision is on the NCAA. They're going to support it. I feel great when the NCAA says he's ready. I'll feel great then.
Penny, what do you take from this? Because I know even though the opponent you got coming up Tuesday is not as well thought as this, but what do you take from this for the rest of the season?
Yeah, for me, I'm taking that we're winning ugly. For me, I'm watching tape, I'm watching us, I'm looking at things that we can, but the defense is just carrying us right now. And that's what I love. I'm taking away, man, the defense travels. It is carrying our team right now, and we're waiting on the offense. And that's what I'm taking away from these wins that we've had over these really good teams, is that it's been ugly offense and winning plays at the right time and beautiful defense.
Penny, not sure if you answered this earlier, but what kind of changed when you got off to that hot start and then kind of cooled off a bit, your team cooled off a bit, and just their resiliency when, Ole Miss did punch back, cut it to 9? Is that just another example of this group's toughness and mental fortitude?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is that you're not going to hold every great team down. They're going to go on a run. They made some shots that they weren't making earlier. It was due to our defense, but any little look they got and that little stress when they went on that run, it's just because great teams are going to make runs, and we knew that all we had to do was just calm ourselves down, reboot, because we took a time out and just talked about, hey, they went on their run, let's go on our run, and we did that. So we never felt like, we were in any kind of danger because we had the game under control pretty much the entire game. But when they went on their run, we were up enough where it wasn't, detrimental to us that we still had like a 13-point lead.